Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Narrator podcast, home of original people, positivity, excellence, and reciprocity. And I'm your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome anybody new right now that may be tuning in. This is a live edition of the Narrator podcast. And thanks for tuning in. All right, so it's Thursday. We're over the hump. Made over Wednesday. Tomorrow is Friday, and yeah, this week is gone. This month is almost gone. It's 27th. So I know we've been being productive. I know we've been crushing our goals. I know we've been being the kings and queens, guys and goddesses that we are. And if you feel you haven't, well, every minor setback is just leading up to a major comeback. So don't let the BS get to you. All right. So for all my newbies, this is a live edition of the Narrator podcast. I have a full format that I do every single weekend. I go over my format if I have time allotted today. My lives are just super random. On my lives, what I do is I deliver positive frames of reference via articles. Like I share positive articles that come across my feed, and then deliver commentary on, breaking news and such. So before I dive into the content, I just give all my new listeners a brief overview of my platform, what my content is about, and what I'm trying to do in this space that I'm occupying. So let's start at the tippy top, the name, the Narrative Podcast. I picked that name because the media weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. So what I wanted to do is design a platform where I'm basically flipping the narrative on their narrative about the portrayal of our people and our culture in mainstream media, literature, movies, television, etc. So, it's just an intentional false misrepresentation of our people and our culture. They do this for a number of reasons. The main reason is for money. There's a lot of profit to be made off of recycling and redistributing our trauma. They also do it to trauma condition us as a people. They want to, program and condition us into accepting things, nuances within our culture that's not normal. They want to break down our resistance and, paint a negative picture of us and have us gravitate towards the negativity and accept that as normal. They propagate and generate negative stereotypes about our people. They play up negative nuances within our culture, and they just make that be a general skewed representation of all of us as a people. They also do that to fear condition people outside of our culture to make them afraid of us. And then they also do that to, like I said, give us a negative self-image and just have us believing like, we're supposed to not have anything, not strive for the best, not be leaders in our community, not have a family structure, be violent, wake up and go to sleep in violence, um, not have intellectual conversations, not try to learn, not try to elevate, not try to inspire and motivate and bring people into our circumference and teach knowledge and wisdom. Um, they basically want to have us just basically, looking like hedonistic animals with no grooming, no, morals or scruples. So, like on my platform, I just want to, do the complete opposite of that. I want to showcase and highlight us in a positive light. I want to play up our strengths. I want to, put the positive frames of reference out about stories that go through the cracks that you don't never really hear about. Because, like I said, the media's always glorifying the negativity and, shying away from the positivity and having us, just look and sound horrible. So that's what my platform is in a nutshell. My overall goal, takeaway I want people to get from my content is the importance of why it's important to share positive content about our people and our culture. This is why I call, my listening audience my narrators, because we all are narrators to some small capacity, meaning we can change the narrative by the content we post. Because we live in the we're living in the digital age now. So, these large corporations and people outside of our culture, they basically just collect data. They judge you based on, what you're posting online, your ideals, your value systems, your beliefs, your faith, whatever you're posting online, that is equated with you as a person. Like, even if it's in jest, people, that don't know you think that you, subscribe to whatever you're posting online. So just imagine people outside of our culture always seeing us post gang culture, gun culture, violence culture, pimp culture, whore culture, thought culture, F-boy culture, all these negative stigmas and stereotypes that we're posting online and feeding into. Just imagine what they, how they perceive us based on, what we're posting online. We should be posting stories about, leadership, entrepreneurship, unity, family structure, doing positive things for ourselves and our communities that we live in. That's what we should be posting online. I mean, it's your platform. You can post whatever content you want to online. Like, nobody really cares. Well, we care, but then we don't. You know what I mean? It comes with a consequence. You're bound by the content you post online. People equate that with, who you are as a person, and also, what culture you are. Like, people associate what your content with your culture, like your ethnic culture, your background, like, all original people, aka black. So spoiler alert, I refer to our people as original people. I don't really say black on my content or platform, excuse me, and I'll get to that in a second. But I just wanted to make sure I'm crossing my T's and dotting my I's and just letting you know why I'm doing this podcast. I'm trying to put out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. It's good, feel good content. My goal is to educate, empower, impact, and motivate on my platform. I don't tear down. I don't drag people through the mud. I don't talk bad about our people. I don't kick dirt on people's names. I don't subscribe to gossip on my platform. I do keep it a buck. If somebody's doing something, they got a public platform that represents us as a people. If they're like doing something that got us all looking and sounding crazy, I will say something about that. I will address that, but other than that, I don't really talk bad about brothers and sisters on here. I try to, uplift, empower, impact, motivate, and educate, enlighten. That's what I'm attempting to do here on the Narrative Podcast, change the narrative. As a matter of fact, my tagline is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. All right, so why do I, on my platform, refer to our people as original versus black? Well, I personally believe in the power of words, and when you release a word out of your mouth, it bends and shapes reality. It basically manifests your reality, basically like bring it into existence after you release it out of your mouth. So you have to be careful about the words you speak, whether verbally or internally, because you're bound to that. Thoughts become things and all that. So you got to watch your thoughts and you got to watch your words. Now, being original people, because civilization started with us, who was here on this planet 5,000 years before every other race on the planet. We originated spoken and written language. Many different dialects, but essentially, we created the word black, and how we used it, the diction and the way we used it, it really meant power. It really meant opulence. It was a sign of respect, dignity, grooming, class, all that. All things positive was associated with the word black. Then over time, the colonizers, who, steal everything and claim things as their own, plunder places, and rewrite history to make themselves, look grand and noble and regal, and make everybody else in the history books, that were not of them, like dirty and tainted and, just degenerates. They took the word black and defiled it basically and made it mean something negative and foul. What has that done for us as a people? I mean, you go into the English language, you look up the word black, and you will see everything negative is associated with the word black. It's associated with death and the end of all things. It's also associated with sickness, disease, famine, pestilence, excuse me. I might have said it right the first time, but it's been a long day. But anyway, all things negative. But before they get to all, the negative words describing black, they go out of their way to denote origin. Like every dictionary thesaurus, when you see the word black, it usually starts out with, people possessing a dark pigmentation or a dark-skinned people, originating or descending from Africa. And then they go into, and then it starts a little snowball. It's real crafty, it's real suggestive, goes on down the line, black, gloomy, dirty, desolate, calamitous, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then on the reverse, when you look up the word white, it's pure, it's holy, it's pristine, all positive things. So it's not an accident, it's intentionally done. Like they're doing something, they're trying to, manipulate your mind into accepting black as something negative. See how they flip the narrative on that? How does that affect us as a people? I mean, you can look at us, especially here in America, from referring to ourselves as black, and then you look at, our brothers and sisters abroad. Now, I'm not trying to tell people don't call themselves black, like don't use your, say, I'm not black, if you're comfortable calling yourself black, if you believe black is beautiful, which it is, black is beautiful, baby. But, I feel the word original is, better befits us as a people. And here's why. When you look in that same dictionary, look at the word original. Original hints at the beginning. Original is the first. Original, like everything else after that was crafted in that image. Nothing really trumps an original, If you're trying to prove something in court, you want the original receipt, original bill of sales receipt. That's going to win it for you. Everything pales in comparison to the original. If we're talking about films, art, music, pretty much, there are some exceptions. Like I gotta say, there are better than the original, but not many. Like the original is usually the best. So, and the first. And I think that, really describes us as a people because we was here on this earth 5,000 years before everyone else. We originated, mathematics. We originated science. We originated the written and spoken word. We originated, how to measure time, how to measure period. We crafted the first boats, sailing, the first college in history was located in Timbuktu. We was the original alchemists. We were the original, doctors. We originated, medicine. We originated soap, cologne, perfume. We originated hygiene. You're welcome. Name something, we probably invented it. But, like I said, the colonizers, they got a hold of our history. And there's many things we didn't get credit for in the books the way it got recorded, but we pretty much originated everything. So get it? That's why I refer to our people as original on my platform as often as possible in, place of the word black. Because it just, it's powerful, it's impactful, and there's not many the first. There's only one the first. And we were first. Actual, factual, scientifically proven. And a sidebar that I always have to keep saying every single time I get on here. We were originally located everywhere in the entire world. And we did not get to all these locations via slave boat. While slavery did happen, while slavery did take place, it was horrific, it was, vile. We got treated very badly, but not all of us came to wherever we were at in the world via a slave boat. We didn't all come over on slave boats in America. We didn't all come over on slave boats in parts of Europe, Asia, you know, Latin America, Central America, none of, you know, Canada, Hawaiian Islands, Pacific Islands, you know, was already originally there. Canada was already originally there. A lot of us. Some of us did come over via slave boats, but the majority of us was already originally located there. So don't ever just subscribe to the notion that, you know, we're all slaves. I mean, we were all enslaved at some point, but not all of us just came over from Africa on slave boats. But anyway, I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. I just wanted to make perfectly clear about, you know, why I say original. All right, getting into the content. Before I dive into the content, this is a live broadcast. What I usually do is I share articles, positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And I already stated the reason, because we don't see or hear positive things a lot often. And, you know, it's very rare that we're shown in a positive light. And like I said, the media intentionally does it. They do it to fear condition. They do it to, you know, psychologically enslave us. They do it to just promote negativity within our community and paint us in the worst light possible. So on my platform, what I'm trying to do is elevate us, you know, showing positive frames of reference. When I come across stories like that, positive, inspiring, uplifting stories about our people and our culture, people doing positive things. And then also I deliver commentary, I address things in the media. And the reason why I do that is because, and in that instance, I'm controlling the narrative, because the media, when they break stories, you know, they usually do it from a negative perspective and have us looking and sounding crazy. In history, if it hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this. You have to tell your own story, or you have your story told for you. And the story they're always telling about our people is something negative. So that's why I do deliver commentary too, as well as the articles. But before I dive into the content, I just want to get a couple things out the way. Some positive things happen in the world. First of all, I want to send a belated congratulations to, you know, stand-up comedian, entertainer extraordinaire, Mr. Martin Lawrence. He received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on April 20th. He's been entertaining us for like a couple decades now. He started really young. Started on, he got his big break on the reboot of the 1970s sitcom, What's Happening. He was on, you know, the rebooted episode, What's Happening Now. And then it just been up and up and up. You know, he went, next big break he had, Spike Lee. Do the Right Thing. He had a little side character in that. Then he, you know, I think he did Def Jam, or House Party and Def Jam, like kind of simultaneously. And then he had his own show eventually. And, you know, he's been on a roller coaster ever since. Had humble beginnings, you know. In his youth, Boys and Girls Club, he used to box amateur, you know. Um, if you're not familiar with Joe Clear, get familiar with Joe Clear. Go to his Instagram. He did a post about that, about Martin's success, about how inspiring and motivating that is for young people. You know, he did a really good job selling that. I don't remember his Instagram title, but go look up Joe Clear on Instagram, and you should see, his piece he did about Martin Lawrence getting his star on the Walk of Fame. And then shout out to Joe Clear, like that's an OG Rap City GOAT. No shade to Big Tigger, but I came up in that era. Joe Clear, the Mayor, Carl Thomas, who else? Prince DeJour, Big Les Seeger. Like I said, no shade to Big Tigger, but like by the time he had his run, it didn't feel right. Like I came up in that era. But I think he was a better he did videos did that justice before that, left the air. Just the basement it was a nah for me. The basement. I mean, I tuned in because I love Rap City, but it just wasn't as nostalgic as like when Joe Clear was on and all those other people I named, DeJour and Carl Thomas. Like they used to like take the artists in the street, like you would see them like walking in their environment, their natural environment, walking in the street or at a restaurant, or you know what I'm saying? Just, I don't know. It was just something different back then. But anyway, also our brother Jamie Foxx, he has made a full recovery. He's been hospitalized for some time. He was shooting for a movie. It's been many speculations on how he got in the hospital, what he was suffering from. It's still not really confirmed nor denied about, his medical status. Some people are saying he had a stroke. Some people are saying he had an aneurysm. I don't know. I don't know his condition. So if I don't have the information, that's one thing I don't do. I don't like, I don't do gossip in any form, so I don't have the actual knowledge of his medical condition, but it is, universally across the board that he has made a full recovery of whatever he was in the hospital for. So clap it up for Jamie Foxx and clap it up for Marty Marr Lawrence. All right, so let's get into this content. I'm gonna share some positive articles with you, and I'm anticipating or hoping you find these uplifting and motivational and inspirational, because I know I sure did, and really hoping that it inspires you to share positive content on your platforms. Find something positive to share instead of something demoralizing and demeaning and, derogatory about our people. All right, so let's get my first article. This is really a tearjerker, y'all. This is like, I was like, oh wow, I was struggling so hard to fight them back, because this is just like, you don't hear stuff like this every day, and we need to hear stuff like this every single day about our people. But here we go. First article, the headline reads, Jason Arday, a 37-year-old who only learned to read and write when he was 18 and could not speak until he was 11, has become Cambridge University's youngest black professor. Like that's powerful. Isn't that inspiring? At 3 years old, he was diagnosed with global developmental delay. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. And autism spectrum disorder. Now, I've heard of autism, but I haven't heard of the spectrum disorder part. But that's what they said he had. That's why he said it took him so long to learn how to read and learn how to speak. But yeah, that's inspiring, never to say the least. That's a very good example of it's never too late. Like always, follow your dream. Whatever you believe you're destined to do in life, don't ever get discouraged. It's also another, a message within that is no excuses. This brother, don't make excuses for yourself if it haven't happened for you or if you're not at where you want to be in life. Because this brother, he didn't know how to read until he was 18. Couldn't speak, couldn't talk until he was 11. So it's also another, lesson to be grateful for the small things in life. Because, whatever you're sad about in your situation, there's somebody that got it 10, 20 times worse than you. So you just don't never know what somebody else is going through. So don't, it's all right to feel sad. It's all right to be disappointed that things didn't turn out for you. But don't dwell and live there because there's somebody, that don't even got that would take your life in a heartbeat over theirs. So on to my second article. Well, I got one more little thing to pin on that. Something I always talk about too. Now, Cambridge is an Ivy League school. And, education is education. I don't believe in Ivy League is just the best. You know what I'm saying? It's like the programming and conditioning us to believe like Cambridge, Dartmouth, and MIT, and Stanford, and Yale, and all these places is just like you're set for life if you graduate from a place, get admitted and graduated from a place like that. I mean, sure, it looks good on a res, but at the end of the day, if you're not going to apply what you've learned, then you've learned nothing with your expensive education. HBCUs are just as good. Community college is just as good if you're intentional with it. I mean, like these Ivy League schools, they're just basically like designer. They're equivalent to designer. Like it looks and sounds good, but are they really functional? It's the same knowledge. Knowledge is knowledge. Never, ever confuse good grades for knowledge. Like just because you have a college education, that doesn't mean you know something. That just means you know how to think in a structured manner. And it just means how you know how to follow the curriculum and the protocol of your professor, whoever's teaching you. It means you know how to follow a syllabus. It doesn't mean you're necessarily intelligent or smart. It just means you know how to retain and regurgitate information. Like they give you a specific set of information, and we want it like this, and put it in APA format, and have a hanging indent, and you know, this is how we want you to type the paper and all that, and cite your sources, and we want citations in the paper, and like, is it knowledge though? Is it real knowledge, or is it just you telling somebody what they can do in a class? And if you pay attention in college, most of your professors tell you you're probably not going to be able to apply this in a real life scenario. So that's just my spiel on, Ivy League and just college in general. Like, it doesn't equal knowledge. Like, if you're not going to apply it, then you didn't learn nothing anyway. Self-gratification, it made you feel good. All right, so on to my next article. Wrongfully convicted man Dupree Glass in Juan Rayford served 17 years for attempted murder and finally got declared innocent. The state was required to pay them $140 for every day they spent behind bars, so they both roughly received over $900,000. Not nearly enough, in my opinion. Like, they should have got like 2 or 3 or 4.5 mil out the gate. Cause 900 racks plus legal expenses, that's for what they went through. 17 years, bruh. I'm glad them brothers got out, but 17 years and they didn't do it? Man, that's foul. That's foul. That is foul. They got to get some more back end somewhere. Like some more back end somewhere is due to them. Like, no way. But you see how the wheels of justice turn so slowly in concern to our people? Isn't that crazy how it's just so slow that the wheels of justice turn for our people? I know they say justice is blind, but the scales never really balance until it's like, a crime against our own kind. It's like when, we commit a crime against our own kind, like a brother commits a crime against another brother, and then, the scales balance, because one's dead and then one's incarcerated. But let somebody outside of our community do something to us, and justice is delayed or not, received at all. The charges will get thrown out. They'll get dismissed. Or if we do get justice, it's just like, what the hell was that? Like, they give them a light tap on the wrist. They give them a 1.3, or, you know what I mean? Forced to pay pay some money that they don't have anyway. So you're never going to get it because they don't got it. Or do like the bare minimum of the sentence with eligibility for parole. Or not get charged at all. That's crazy. All right, here's my very last article for the day. And I'll jump into some commentary. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to try to just pick one thing and go with it. So, last article, the headline reads, police were called on a black girl spraying lantern flies. Now Yale celebrates her brilliance. And the young sister's name was Bobby Wilson. She's from a town in New Jersey, Caldwell to be exact, Caldwell, New Jersey. So basically, a Karen called the police on her. It's always a Karen. All she was doing was outside. She made up she's heavy into the ecosystem, heavy, she's a green teen, I guess. Natural, earthy. She's down with that movement, natural, earthy. She's like heavy into, the environment. I think my generation, Xers, we was heavy into the environment. Like, we even had stuff like animated cartoons to get us into the environment. Like, remember Captain Planet? But anyway, she got the police called on her, and she made up a solution of apple cider vinegar and some soap, some natural soap that she made, and mixed it, and she was spraying for the lantern flies, because the lantern flies in the insect world, they're really destructive. They harm trees, they kill crops, they destroy like really good flowers, and so they're really destructive, and she wanted to do something about it. Instead of complaining about it, she actually did something, and for that reward, she got the police called on her. Somebody just saw her spraying stuff, and the police actually showed up for the complaints. But thank goodness she wasn't arrested. People around the university had heard, what she was doing, and they invited her to a lecture, and now I believe she has a scholarship. Of course, she'll be attending there at Yale for on a STEM scholarship. And STEM, if you're not unfamiliar with the acronym, it stands for science, technical, engineering, and mathematics. So make sure your child is participating in STEM, or they will be left behind. Like, we're in the future now, unless you intend on going off the grid, not being dependent on technology. And the world, this modern world, the way it is, you need to know about STEM. You also need to know about AI. You also need to know how to turn on and turn off a computer and properly maintain it. You should have the bare minimum under your belt is to know how to send an email. You should know how to use Word. You should know how to use PowerPoint. It's no excuse. Like, you can go to YouTube. There's free tutorials. Like, come on, you gotta stay with the times, my people. And that'll do it for the articles. So let's dive into some commentary. What's going on here in these streets? Okay, so apparently, my brother just nearly, or he lost his life um, while incarcerated. A brother by the name of LaShawn Thompson in Atlanta, in a prison in Atlanta, got eaten alive by bed bugs and insects. And so they're currently investigating, what happened. I mean, it's real sad. It's sad. That's some like that. Like how filthy does the cell have to be to get eaten alive? So that means you didn't have no cleaning products. That means you didn't have soap or water to clean your own body up. That means they gave you like a filthy mattress that probably been there for like 14 or 15 years, probably like springs coming out, poking you all in the back. Because if they ate him alive, like his mattress had to be like almost non-existent. Like there must not have been no laundry, so no washing the sheets. Like I know jail isn't supposed to be fun. If you did something bad to land yourself in jail, it's not supposed to be the Ritz-Carlton, but you ain't supposed to get ate up by no damn bugs. Like how filthy was the cell? And they're just like acting clueless, like they didn't know, like they didn't smell it. For insects to devour a full-grown human being, he was almost a little bit, well over 100 pounds. Most of it was muscle because he's like, he's locked up, he eating, he exercising. So, if you got family incarcerated, check on them, write them, make sure they're good at all times, even if you're not seeing eye to eye with them. Like, make sure your people are good at all times when they're incarcerated, because, like, as you can see, they do not give a F about our people in the penal system. Like, that is just reprehensible. Like every single last CO need their damn ass beat. What else is going on out here? So, I think Netflix, they got a docu series about Freaknik. I think it's supposed to be produced by Jermaine Dupri. Let me punch it up to make sure I fact check myself. So because of that, the Freaknik's coming back. Looks like this summer it's supposed to be in Atlanta. So like it's stirring up a whole lot of hype. Wait, who did Freaknik? What? I just punched up Freaknik Atlanta 23 and I'm seeing all this, so it is coming back. It's going to like go down again. Alright. Freaknik documentary. Hulu. It's on Hulu. Prime, Amazon Prime. I'm trying to just watch, trying to punch up like who created it. Not sure. Okay. I don't know who did the Freaknik documentary, but basically it's caused a resurgence and it's resurfacing. Now, now that was the wave. Like everybody, if you're a Gen Xer, you wanted to go to Freaknik. So I had Freaknik fantasies. It never happened. I think God stopped it. But Freaknik was in our community. That was our Fort Lauderdale. Freaknik was our Cabo San Lucas. Freaknik was our Tijuana, our like all them other little places that Caucasian kids go on their spring break, on their summer break, to party and kick it. That was that for like Freaknik was that for our people. Some negative things about Freaknik was, traffic. Nobody can get in and out of the city. Displays of debauchery, like people getting it on to the break of dawn, seeing nudity, like grotesque nudity, like chicks was walking around wearing mesh shirts, no bra, cheeks all out, and like they was choosing, like you could really, if that's what you was looking for, you would find it at Freaknik. So now I'm looking on the internet, seeing all these memes. Your mama used to be at Freaknik. Like that's the mic drop. Like, people was like actually pulling up pictures of other people's, like they getting in on it. The millennials and post millennials actually like roasting each other, pulling up their mom's old pictures of Freaknik. Like, so it's some good and some bad. So it's like the positivity thing. On the positive side, Freaknik was unified. Like people went to Atlanta for a good time. That was coming from all over the United States. That was coming up from up north. That was coming from, the Midwest, the West Coast, everywhere because it was so popping. And just wanting a good time and nobody, I don't think, I didn't hear about, no violence level going up on Freaknik. Sure, there were some fights, but like not a lot of people historically looking back on the Freakniks, you didn't hear a body count going up. And for our people, that's monumental to be in a closed area without, people dying every other day, like getting shot down and killed. And so basically all they was trying to do was get seen and enjoy themselves. Now the bad part of it, of course, was the STDs and the STIs. People were contracting a whole lot of things in the Freaknik. People from everywhere, knowing full darn well that they were HIV positive and was going down to Atlanta to have unprotected sex, or already a resident of Atlanta, and just like almost in a predatory type fashion, because they know, what they got. It was the law to tell people what you got. Like, it's supposed to be the law. Like, after you get that, like, not only do you get put on the register, you had to have a card back then identifying it. But people was contracting that a lot. And then the OG ones, like, syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes 1 and 2, crabs, gonorrhea, people just being loose and unclean with their bodies. So that's the bad thing. That's the fearful thing about Freaknik. Like, all the things we got going on in the world, we still got this little invisible thing. There's that. And then now we got new diseases. Like, there's new sexually transmitted diseases since then, other than the HIV and the AIDS. Now you got stuff like, have y'all ever heard of something called blue waffles? They had that up in Las Vegas. This is like a remixed super gonorrhea. Like, let me punch it up, so fact check myself, but it's real nasty. It's a buggerbeer. Yuck. Let me see. What is it? What is it exactly? I just got a thing says do not search images for blue waffles. If you do, then don't. Do not search Google images for blue waffles as long as you know there isn't such a. But no, there is a disease called blue waffles. Is a real disease referring to slang for vagina. The term for vagina is a fake STI. Internet hoax. That fake STI turned into labia blue. But yeah, I'm getting a whole lot said it's not an actual disease, but there is like some brand new nasty STDs going around, and people's gonna be going raw dogging it. And they shouldn't be doing that in this climate that we're in. They definitely shouldn't have been doing it in the 90s. If you survived Freaknik, if you went down there and you was raw dogging it all Freaknik, salute to you, and you're proof that there is a God. Cause like people just, they took the party element to the next level. They wasn't exercising common sense. It's like there's a limit, there's a line. There got to be an off switch. You can't just have 3 weeks with no off switch. Especially in the times we're living in, you have to have an off switch. You can't just be turned 24 hours a day. You can't. Well, that's it for my commentary today. I try to keep my lives super brief. That's another goal of my platform. I try to keep my whole thing um, time sensitive. I don't want to, for my full broadcast, I don't want to exceed an hour. And for my lives, I really don't want to exceed over 45 minutes. Reason being, when I first started podcasting, um, I had no idea what I wanted to do, what type of content that I wanted to talk about. Essentially, I would just hit the record button and start talking and talking and talking. Didn't know, what I wanted to talk about. No starting point, no stopping point. Basically, I was just ranting and raving and rambling. So then I took a little step back, examined my content, and sat and thought, what am I trying to do with my platform? What is my ultimate goal? What is my takeaway? What do I want to do? What do I want to leave the audience with? And so after that, I refined and retooled my content, streamlined it, used the KISS formula, keep it simple, silly, and my listening audience went up. So I'm delivering some good conscious content, but I'm not at the same time alienating nobody. I'm not shooting way over people's head that they can't keep up. But I'm giving you what you need and, making it practical and keeping it digestible and relatable and accessible. You can listen to me on the go. You don't have to clear your entire schedule to listen to my podcast. Got more new stuff. I'm going to transition into the video. That's coming very soon. I got all kinds of projects in the works coming out. But yeah, more about that later. I got some time. I've been skipping it for the last couple of days. For my new listeners, I'm gonna walk you through, give you a brief overview of the Narrator podcast, a full episode, which you will be tuning in this weekend when you tune in to listen to me this weekend. Because my randoms are super duper random live. I don't never know what days I'm going to go live. It's usually Monday through Thursday. It's usually Thursdays, but it could be Monday, it could be a Tuesday, it could be a Wednesday. I don't know. Last 4 months now have been Thursdays though. So yeah, let's dive into it. Give you a brief overview of the Narrator podcast, and then I'm gonna dip out and leave y'all to enjoy the rest of your evening. So let's go. All right, so the first thing I start out on the Narrator podcast, I'll start with my promo section. The promo section, what I'm doing is giving original people, business owners that own or operate their own business, the opportunity to receive free publicity for their business, product, or service, anything that they're trying to sell. The reason why I'm doing that is to do my part to circulate the original people dollar in the original people community. We are due reparations, but until we get it, it's up to us to help us. We got to patronize each other. We got to promote each other. So if somebody got their own business, you got to either, purchase their product or plug it on your platform, send them some business so we can keep this, community thing going. They can hire their own, they can do stuff for their community. It just makes sense. Self-preservation and all that. Second section of the Narrator podcast for a full episode is my promotional section. And that section, what I'm doing is I'm basically giving you the incentive to listen to my podcast by offering a bulk supply of your favorite snack by participating in my contest topic. My current contest that I'm running is the Chew on This contest. And the prize that I'm offering is a bulk supply of your favorite snack. The entry is free. Entry details are on my last full recorded episode of the Narrator podcast. Check that out. I'm not going to do that here for the promo. All the information is on my last previously recorded full episode of the Narrator podcast. It'll take too long to go over the email address and all that. So I'm just giving you a brief overview on here. My next section is the highlight section. In that section, in the highlight section, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting businesses owned and operated, by our people. And the reason why I'm doing that is to, promote businesses. Also to put out the positive frame of reference about our people doing for each other, ourselves. Entrepreneurialism, give you the positive frame of entrepreneurialism and doing for ourselves. The types of businesses that I generally highlight in the highlight section are, people that came from the mud. They didn't have adequate education. They didn't have necessarily the financial means to start their own business, but somehow they found a way to do it. They didn't know what they were, they didn't have a business plan. They didn't, know what exactly how they was going to make it work. They just knew they wanted to do it and they did it. So that's the positive frame of reference that I'm giving you in the highlight section, that it can be done because we don't have any reality television shows about our people being entrepreneurs, starting their own businesses, giving back to the community, because also in the highlight section, the businesses that I highlight, they give back to the community. They either pay into a nonprofit organization or they have their own nonprofit organization. Many of them are family-owned businesses, so I'm giving you an example of generational wealth as well. And then also, like I said, we don't have any reality television shows. It's all just us acting ratchet. The reality shows that do feature entrepreneurialism, us having our own business, it gets overshadowed with the violence level, with the violence and the dysfunctional level. Like, that's what you focus on. You don't focus on the fact that the shopkeeper is a black man or a black woman. You just focus on the fighting amongst each other, the overindulgence in alcohol or whatever, the dysfunction. Like, that's what you focus on. You don't focus on they're successful. They came from the bottom. They made it. They're running a successful business. They're hiring their own. They're paying into a nonprofit organization. They're giving back to the community. All you hear or all you see when you turn on the television is, calling each other out their name and trying to fight each other and all that. So on my platform, what I'm doing is I'm giving you the positive frame of reference that they did it. They found a way to succeed. They was passionate about something and they worked at it until they became good at it and they sold a nice serviceable product. And they're spending the rest of their life doing something that they enjoy. Like, you don't have to subscribe to the 9-to-5 lifestyle. You can get off that hamster treadmill. It is possible. These people have done it. That's what I'm, giving you in that section. I also strive to, focus the lens on their journey, like how they came up with their idea to start their own business, the name, how they came up with their funding. I try to walk you through their whole journey in the business. And then also the businesses, they line up with my theme. This month's theme is the season of spring. And the season of spring will probably go on to the end of May. So I'll be highlighting businesses like I feel are associated with the season of spring, and then also highlighting businesses that hire their own, pay into their community, do some type of work in the soil, give back to some small capacity. My next section is called the Spotlight section. And in the Spotlight section, what I'm doing is I'm spotlighting prominent figures within our community that, publicly speak on the cause, got their feet in the soil doing the work, or just the way they carry and conduct themselves. It's usually people in the entertainment industry, just people that occupy a public platform and, make us look good in the eye of the public, basically. So it's like, I'm spotlighting entertainers, actors, actresses, athletes, comedians, public figures, religious figures, like I said, basically anybody in the eye of the public that does interviews, that posts content and, just represents us well, having us in a positive light, using their platform to speak on our plight, and then also, doing some type of social activism or political activism or, doing some type of charity or giving back. And so I'm giving them the roses while they're here for that. And so my ultimate goal while I'm doing that is to create the healthy habit of saying something nice about your brother or your sister online instead of something always negative, instead of always, roasting, trying to clown somebody, drags people through the mud. They got us programmed and conditioned to believe that's the only way you can make money online is to, spread gossip, spread lies, or clap back, or, be in somebody's comment section causing havoc to make a bag. And you don't. You can be positive and get a bag. You don't have to drag your brothers and sisters' name through the mud. You don't have to be, just intentionally causing chaos online. And we're the only people that do that. We're the only people to do that. You never see no other people do that but us. Because they got us, so ingrained into it. Us so ingrained to put each other down and to talk bad about each other. And that's the only way you can make some really quick money. But for the people that engage in that, all money ain't good money. You can't take it with you when you die. So I don't know why people do it, but that's what the Spotlight section is basically about. Me giving them the roses why they're here, for all they do for us as a people and how they make us look as a people in a good way. And to my own credit, I started the way for spotlighting, because before I added the Spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrator podcast, nobody online was spotlighting anybody. And you can fact check, you can go through my library, you can go through my episode catalog and, see was anybody spotlighting anybody. And you should find it wasn't. But like I said, the purpose of me doing that was to create the healthy habit for, to speak positively about your brothers and sisters instead of always, denigrating and talking bad and name calling and all that online. So Because now every time you go online, you see, people interviewing guests. Today we'll be spotlighting this person. People will be spotlighting that person or whatever, you know. So, as the old saying goes, imitation is the best form of flattery. I'm flattered that so many people are now spotlighting people. So, I can take a bow for that.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. I am changing the narrative. Recognition, that's cool if people don't want to acknowledge that they listen to my platform, but the proof's in the pudding. Like, I be listening, like, too many people just, like, use my nuances, like, little stuff I be saying. Like, it's all up and down timelines. It's all good, though. So anyway, after the spotlight section, my next section is my speaking section, or what was it? I'm sorry, I'm lost my own train of thought. The highlight section, speaking point. Health and wellness. Oh, speaking point of the day. Or nah, my bad. I done jumped up. Spotlight. My health and wellness section. My bad. I done jumped up. 3 sections. My next section is the health and wellness section. And in the health and wellness section, what I'm doing in that section is promoting total body health and wellness. Basically giving tips how to maintain a healthy, active, fit lifestyle, total body wellness, mentally, physically, and spiritually. The reason why I'm doing that because our people is, heavily under attack. Like I said, starting out, they have weaponized the media against us. They're trying to destroy our minds with the media, with these images of us, these negative images, these negative personas. These negative representations of us, negative and inaccurate at that. Then on the physical side, they're putting all kinds of stuff in the food, in the water, in, common cleaning products that you might use every single day, grooming products, and they basically contain harmful additives to our unique physiology. And, it's an inherent plot to get rid of us. And so for that, we need to armor up. And then also, spiritually stuff too, I talk about. So like, for example, on the physical side, I might share with you the health benefits of a fruit, a vegetable, a plant, herb, extract, or elixir that can help with your vitality. Physical side, I might like a physical exercises, physical exercise you can perform to stay healthy, to stay in shape, to stay in good cardio or whatever. On the mental side, just things you can do to keep your good mental state up, like mindful breathing and, using good time management skills and meditating and, mindful breathing, mindfulness, stuff like that. And then every once in a blue moon, I might hit you with a curveball for the spiritual side of it. And, okay. You heard me, huh? That's good. So, I got lost my train of thought. So anyway, what was I saying? So like mental, spiritual, and physical elements of total body wellness. You know, I just give you the whole spectrum of it. Not like all those things. I might focus on one thing. It's usually like the health benefits of, you know, plant, herb, extract, elixir, whatever. On the spiritual side of it, like praying, you know, how to use other like stuff. And I might do for wild card metaphysical stuff. So, you know, just good tips to keep you in, you know, good health. As like I said, we're at the target of so many diseases and all that type of stuff. And we just basically have to stay armored up here in these streets because we are targeted. They fear us so much, they don't want us here. So it's up to us to keep ourselves here by all means. Let's see. So yeah, health and wellness. Okay, my speaking point of the day. That's my next section you'll be listening to. The speaking point of the day is just basically like current events, just like I did this evening. Just, you know, whatever I come across, like breaking news, you know, around the world or within our community, and I cover it from my commentary from our perspective. Because, like I said, the media have us looking and sounding crazy. So in that section, what I'm doing is controlling the narrative by telling, you know, the accounts of whatever is going on in the world from our perspective, like where we at in this, you know, in this scenario. You know, what does that mean for us? If it's worldwide or if it's something happened directly in our community. And then after the speaking point of the day, I close out with my final thought. The final thought, sometimes I refer to it as, you know, last word or final word, final thought or final word. I'm conflicted on what I should call it. I kind of flip back and forth, but basically it's the end of the podcast there when I get to the final thought. And it's basically just a gem, a pearl of wisdom, something to leave you to ponder, you know, the life, mysteries of life, or just, you know, an observation that I have, you know, just something deep, something meaningful, something that resonate with you, you know, spiritually and intellectually. And if you get something out of it, cool. If you don't, the message probably wasn't for you. Yeah. So that's the full narrative podcast experience. I know you will be tuning in with me this weekend. And I know you will be telling a friend to tell a friend to tune into the Narrator podcast. So that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody. This concludes another live edition of the Narrator podcast. Tune in this weekend for a full episode of the Narrator podcast. Till then, download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrator podcast. Tune in regularly so you don't miss me when I'm live. You can tune in to me, my YouTube channel, Halsey Allen. That's just my viewer channel, but all my Narrator podcast episodes get automatically uploaded to it. Also, on this platform, it automatically loads to my Twitter, whether I'm live or whether it's recorded, Twitter and YouTube. And I'm also Halsey Allen on YouTube, so, you can get your narrative podcast fixed like that, when I'm broadcasting live. You can get it wherever you get your podcast from. Just make sure you download this episode, all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, to help keep my platform growing so I can give you, a better podcast experience, better content, guests are on the way. I'm getting sponsors, kind of getting flooded with sponsors right now. I'm trying to sift through to see, which one is appropriate for my platform. What else I got going on? If you have not done so, please go to the Poetizer bookstore on poetizer.com and purchase my book titled The Black Card. It's 30 poems. It's about, the Black experience in a nutshell, like all the things we go through as a people, all the nuances within our culture, or as I like to call it, original people. But when I wrote it, it was, I was in that mental space. It's the Black Card. So, connect the dots on that. Purchase the Black Card, or, run the risk of having your Black Card revoked. But go to poetizer.com, go to their bookstore, purchase a copy of my book, The Black Card. It's 30 poems, really insightful, really witty, captures our entire experience as a people, and make a great coffee table read or a great travel book. Because I know people, spring and summer's coming up, people's going to be traveling, and to make some good literature or a good coffee table read. So yeah, go get that, The Black Card. Also support my personal poetry blog, Halsey's Poetry Corner, on www.mrhalseysblogs.com. My tagline for that is poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read one of my poems on Halsey's Poetry Corner, you'll find out why. Really good, insightful, witty poetry. I write it in the moment. I don't premeditate what I'm writing. I just it goes from my mind right to the blog as I'm typing it. When I'm finished, that's the only thing I premeditate is the title. I don't come up with the title till after I'm finished with it, with the entire poem. So I write it in the moment, spur of the moment, really creative stuff. To support that, go to www.mrhalseysblog.com and share poems from Halsey's Poetry Corner on one of your platforms, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on whatever platform you're active on. Share a poem from Halsey's Poetry Corner, to whatever platform you're active on. Well, that'll do it for me, guys. Thanks for listening. I'm out of here like last year. Halsey Allen and the Narrator Podcast signing off. Please join me this weekend. Catch y'all. Love, light, healing energy. I'm out of here like last year. Halsey Allen and the Narrator Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
Get a little bit of gasoline.